Hello everyone, my name is Itamar Blauer and welcome to this week's episode of Weekly Wisdom with SEMrush. Today I'm going to be talking about how to effectively share your video content to increase engagement. As we all know, video is very popular nowadays, so it's vital that not just making video content, but also being able to know which platforms and how to share it effectively in order to get more people to watch your content and interact with it, all in the hopes of getting you more viewers, but more importantly, more leads for your business. So you've recorded and edited a video. That's great, that's perfectly fine. But then what? What do you do next? And that's something that happens really commonly when people have already got the videos, but they just don't know how to spread it, how to get people to watch it, how to get it out there to the right audience, because that's very important. So let's just take a look first of all as to why video content is so important nowadays. People are less interested in reading blog posts and long forms of text, etc., even infographics and images. The trend nowadays is people like to consume video content because it just makes it a lot easier to watch. It's easier consumption methods for your audiences. And if we realize that people don't really have a long time to be reading a blog post that's 1,000, 2,000 words, they would much rather watch a short video that explains everything in detail and is much more efficient. So let's discuss about the platforms that you should be sharing your video content to. We all know platforms like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Reddit even is a great platform. You can also share your video content on your own website, and I'm going to cover a case study that I did for a client where they managed to increase their engagement by just embedding a video onto one of their service pages. And so we've got loads and loads of different options here for platforms that you can choose to share your video content on, but you need to be really specific about knowing where your target audience are and also what type of content people on these platforms like to consume. So I'll give you an example. We have here a long versus short form content table where you can see which type of content typically does better in terms of the length of the video on different platforms. So there's three different ones that it doesn't matter the length of the content, and that is YouTube, Reddit, and your own website. And the reason why it doesn't matter is that, first of all, on YouTube, people will typically expect to find videos that are longer and shorter. It really doesn't matter the length, just because YouTube is the most popular video broadcasting platform in the world. So you don't need to really worry about video length when you're talking about YouTube. The same thing with Reddit, because people on Reddit are more likely going to be really interested if they're in a particular subreddit with a certain type of niche that's really important to them, that they really like. So they wouldn't generally care about how long a video would be, as long as it matches what they want to get out of it. And the same thing on your website. Video on your website doesn't have to be limited in terms of time. The platforms that you do need to be cautious of are the other ones on this table, like LinkedIn, like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, because these platforms are filled with so many content types from different people. And this is all the time. If you think about a Twitter feed and how often it changes and it's constantly updating, people won't have time typically to be watching a 10-minute video on their Twitter feed, because there will be new tweets that come up and there's always distractions and prompts that there are new tweets, new content available to them. And that's why on platforms like this, you need to keep your video content much shorter. But strategies you can use in order to help leverage this short video form on these platforms and get your viewers to watch a full-length video. So what you could do with that is, if you upload a full video onto YouTube, say for example it's a 7 or 8 minute video, you'd have that on YouTube, and then you could upload a shorter version of that video on platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter, and then you could actually link out to the YouTube link if people want to watch the full video. So that's a cool little trick that you can use in order to leverage more views on different platforms using short versus the full or long form video content that you have. And of course, this entirely depends on the videos that you do have, but this is a nice little trick in order for you to be maximizing your reach and your engagement. Now we're going to be talking about native uploads and why they are so important to social media platforms. So on the screen you can see a few different examples of native videos being uploaded on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on Twitter. And native videos are when you upload the videos file directly onto the platform. So it's not the same as tweeting a YouTube URL, because the video would be uploaded on YouTube, but we're talking specifically about taking the video source and uploading it onto the chosen platform. And the reason why this is so important is because social media platforms want users to stay on their platform. So if they see that you're linking to a YouTube video, for example, they will know that if people do click that link, then they will bounce to YouTube and they will get away from their platform. And certain platforms that really utilize native videos and reward it is LinkedIn, because whenever you engage on a native LinkedIn video, all of the first connections of whoever engaged with it will also be notified that you have liked or commented or shared that video. And the great thing about this is LinkedIn typically has users who are connected to each other with similar interests, be it within their field of work or general hobbies or things that they follow. So somebody who is connected to you on LinkedIn, their connections are more likely to be interested in the same kind of content. So if they get notified, that means that you're branching out to other people who you may not have known, but these are people who are highly relevant to the types of content that you're creating. So native videos are highly recommended to use them for all sorts of platforms, especially with LinkedIn, because the engagement you can get is really good compared to native uploads on other platforms like Facebook and Twitter. So now I'm going to move over to a case study that I did, and this involved actually taking a video that was uploaded on YouTube and then embedding it onto a service page. And this is very simple to do, especially on YouTube, because when you're in a YouTube video, you will have an option to share the video, and then within these options, one of them will be an option to embed the video. And all you have to do really is just copy that code, go into whichever page on your website you want to put it on, and then edit it with HTML, and you paste in the code and the video will be embedded. Now, the reason why embedding videos onto websites is really crucial for engagement is because it just gives more chances for people to engage and stay longer on the particular web page. And the example you can see here is that when the video was embedded, the stats for engagement and all these metrics to do with the bounce rate, the average time on site, even the sessions have all improved quite drastically. And that was mainly due because the video was embedded onto this page, and it was very towards the top of the page, which means that people who landed on the page most likely would have been clicking onto that video, and they'd be watching and engaging before they even read the other contents of the service page. So that is a very cool trick that you can use, and it doesn't have to be for service pages. You can do this for your blog posts as well. Videos tend to complement blog posts really well, so it's also recommended that you get videos embedded that talk more in detail about any kind of blog post that you're making. So the key takeaways for this episode is, number one, have different video lengths for different platforms. And we've noticed that people don't have time on platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn to be watching 10 to 15 minute long videos. So keep it short on those platforms, and then include links that go to the longer form videos that you'll have on places like YouTube. The second thing is utilize your video content on your website. It's a really good way to increase the engagement on your website, which is very helpful if you want people to keep scrolling your website instead of them leaving somewhere else. So definitely embed videos onto your website. And last but not least, you need to experiment with video content. You need to try different length videos. Sometimes you might find that 60 seconds will work great on platforms like Twitter, platforms like Facebook, you may find that people are actually watching a 4 or 5 minute video on LinkedIn. You have to experiment, get your own results, and this is something that I always like to kind of say: experiment with the video content that you're doing, get the results, and then you will have your own winning formula of how to effectively share your video content. So thank you very much for watching this episode of Weekly Wisdom. My name's Itamar Blauer. Feel free to contact me on LinkedIn and Twitter.